consider the following statements regarding the procedure for amendment to the Constitution. In case of deadlock, the President of India can call for a joint sitting of both the houses of the Parliament. Only a minister can introduce the bill. A bill to amend the federal provisions of the Constitution must be ratified by at least half of the states by a special majority. Which of the statements given above is or are not correct, we have to find out here. So regarding a constitutional amendment bill, okay, a bill can be introduced in either Lok Sabha or in Rajya Sabha, not an issue. It can be introduced by a minister as well as a private member can also initiate a constitutional amendment bill, not an issue. And the thing is that it has to be passed separately in both houses. Separately it has to be passed by a special majority in both the houses. This shows that there is no provision for joint sitting. That is, in case of a constitutional amendment bill, there is no provision to hold a joint sitting. But in case of an ordinary bill or in case of financial bill, joint sitting can be constituted. But in case of money bill, Lok Sabha has some exclusive powers. In case of constitutional amendment bill, both the houses has to pass it by using a special majority separately. Here one says that the President of India can call for a joint sitting. No, the President has no option to call for a joint sitting regarding a constitutional amendment bill. So one is a wrong statement. 2 says that only a minister can introduce the bill. No, regarding a constitutional amendment bill, even a private member can also introduce a bill. So 2 is also a wrong statement. What about 3? The bill to amend the federal provisions of the Constitution must be ratified by at least half of the state by using a special majority. No. Parliament has to pass it by using a special majority, but state can ratify it by using a simple majority alone. The statement says that the state has to pass by using a special majority. That makes the third statement also wrong. So since all the statements are wrong here, and we have to find out the not correct one, our answer becomes option D, that is 1, 2 and 3. Okay. Which among the following is not a fundamental duty? To safeguard public property, to protect natural environment, to pay taxes, to preserve country's rich heritage. See, the original Constitution does not contain for what? The provision called fundamental duties. It was inserted through the 42nd Amendment Act. The 42nd Amendment Act only inserted this part 4A to the Constitution, that is called fundamental duties. And at that time it consists of 10 duties, and 86th Amendment Act added one more duty, and now we have 11 fundamental duties. Okay, the committee which recommended for adding fundamental duties into the Constitution is called Swaran Singh Committee. Swaran Singh Committee recommended about these fundamental duties, and among that the Swaran Singh Committee also recommended to add, that is to pay taxes also as a fundamental duty, but it was not incorporated into part 4A. Even though Swaran Singh Committee recommended to add the right to pay tax is also the duty to pay tax as a fundamental duty, that was not added by the respective government into the Constitution of India. So to pay taxes, that's right, the duty to pay tax is currently not a fundamental duty. The remaining A, B, C, that is to safeguard public property, to protect natural environment, as well as to preserve country's rich heritage. All these 3 are fundamental duties, and the duty to pay tax is not a fundamental duty currently. So option C should be our answer to this question. Okay. Which of the following statements is correct in Indian context? Sovereignty means that India favors isolationism from the rest of the world to avoid external interferences in its affairs. Political justice signifies the absence of arbitrary distinction between people in political sphere. Find the correct answer using the quotes below. Okay, so what does actually sovereignty means? It simply means India is free to manage its own affairs. Free to manage its affairs, and it is independent. It is sovereign. The ultimate power regarding Indian affairs lies with whom? The India itself. That is what we mean by the term sovereignty. It does not mean we have no contact with outside world. Does not mean India has no contact with outside. It does not mean India favors isolate. No, India not at all favors to isolate from other countries. No, we are also engaged with other countries, but still We have the right to manage our own affairs. That is what meant by the term sovereignty. But here one says that sovereignty means India favors isolationism. No, we can't be isolated. We have a globalized economy, a globalized nature we have. So we must have connection with the other countries also, and we does not favor isolationism. But the sovereignty actually means India is free to manage its affairs. No one has to interfere in our own matter. That is what meant by the term sovereignty. So one is a wrong statement here. 2 says that the political justice signifies the absence of arbitrary distinction between people in political. That is, in case of political sphere, there must not be any arbitrary distinction between people to people. But in case of political sphere, exactly that is what meant by the political justice. Okay. So 2 is a correct statement. So answer becomes option B, that is 2 only. So answer to this question is option B. Why? Because statement 1 is a wrong statement and 2 is a correct statement. Okay. So answer becomes option B. Industrial and labor disputes is a subject under. See, under our 7th schedule, the powers are divided between central as well as states in the form of union list, state list, concurrent list, as well as apart from these 3 lists, there is one more power called residuary powers. That means among this union list consists of various subjects or various entries, and among that subject is the parliament who can make laws. And regarding subjects under state list, state can make laws. Regarding subjects under concurrent list, both parliament as well as state can make laws, and in case if there is a conflict between central law as well as state law, then ultimately the parliament law prevails, but there is an exemption. If a law is given assent by the President of India, if a state bill is reserved by the governor for the consideration of the president, and if president gives sign to the bill, then that bill also valid. Why? Even if it is against the parliamentary law, not an issue. This is the only one exception given to in such cases. But again, one thing is that again after that, parliament can amend or repeal that particular law also, not an issue. But normally in case of concurrent list, both parliament and state can make laws. Ultimately, if there is a conflict, the parliamentary law prevails, except if the state law is given assent by the President of India. In that case, the state law also what? Valid. Clear? So among these 3 lists, the industrial and labor disputes comes under concurrent list only. So industrial and labor dispute is a subject mentioned under option C, that is concurrent list. Okay.